Hello, I'm Eric Miller.
And I'm Haven Paul, and we're here today with Lee Mothes, here at his studio, Oceans and Dreams.
Located in downtown Kaukauna.
Above the KC&T coffee shop.
There you go.
Okay.
Good plug there.
Yeah.
Yep.
We could put a
Great
link
coffee.
for that.
So Lee, you are originally from California.
Right.
What part of California did you come from?
I grew up in Southern California, south of Los Angeles. Just my mother was a waitress, and we had this house, and we just happened to live a block from the beach. So it became a big influence when the ocean was either rough or doing crazy things, high tides. And I just loved the energy of water and beaches. So I started doing drawings even as a teenager.
Okay. And then what brought you east to Wisconsin?
Long winding road. After I grew up in Southern California, I moved eventually to Northern California. I went to school as an art major, moved on to Oregon, went to school there briefly to finish, and then found the Oregon coast, kind of discovered it and bought a lot, built a house out there. And met my wife-to-be as I was finishing the house, and so she helped me finish the house. So we got together, and it turns out she's from here.
Okay.
So when we started having kids, we moved here to raise our 3 daughters. And we've been here ever since. Big problem is no ocean, so I go out as much as I can. And
So that's why you paint oceans.
yeah, I kind of pushed it further in imaginary places. I wanted the idea of California, but not the reality, like the freeways and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
So I would start to draw more or less fanciful places along the California coast or other places in the world.
Which kind of brings us to your new island,
Right,
project.
right.
which I have seen. I can't remember where, but I did see it in a museum somewhere. And I actually thought it was, I couldn't tell if it was real or not real. So you're doing a good job on
That's
that.
the purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of the idea. It still is. I have a display of the island right here, maps and some historical documents, quote unquote historical, because it has a history, it has a culture. They even produce their own currency, coins and so on, and flag and all this. So this is part of the imagery that I put together into a book called the New Island Guidebook. And lately I've been working on a novel that takes place on the island.
Yeah. Your artwork certainly takes the viewer away
It does.
to
It does.
a
And
tropical type scene, and it's fabulous. I love it.
Yeah. And I can't believe the detail that you put into this whole, like the history of your island. It's amazing. It is amazing.
Well, thanks. It's become this kind of, I'm not sure if the obsession is the right word, but an occupation. And it's real spotty as far as any income, but I just feel I have to do it. So I'm kind of finishing it up this last year or so.
Okay.
So what did you do? Were you always an artist for your livelihood, or?
Not really. Like I say, as a kid, I started to draw these imaginary places, but I never considered I could be an artist.
Mhm.
I think, oh, wow, that's out there. But after art school and so on, I did a lot of carpentry work just to get by. And then funny thing, moving here to Wisconsin, I started doing these more imaginary beaches. And a dealer saw my work, and she said, oh, I can sell these. So she started selling originals to corporations
Nice.
around the Fox Cities. And that got me going. And then I discovered art fairs and did those for many years.
Mhm.
Now I work through galleries and my own website,
Okay.
Which is
oceansanddreams.com.
oceansanddreams.com.
That's great.
And newisland.net.
Oh, it has its own
Oh, it's-
website.
oh,
Oh, yeah.
nice.
Everybody has a website. The island has.
New Island.
I didn't know they had internet on that island.
Well, they don't, but we all do, so you need to have a website.
That's great.
That is funny.
So mostly you work in watercolor, or just all sorts of different mediums?
I like water media, so that means watercolor and acrylic. Watercolor especially. But I've also gotten into pencil drawing, so there's some pencil drawing
I saw some
imagery,
downstairs.
and my newer work involving surf just great big pictures of waves.
Mm-hmm.
It's either acrylic or drawing.
And a few years ago, I remember you had sent an email out. You were taking a trip back west,
Right.
and you were going to stop and visit different galleries along the way. How was
Mhm.
that adventure? How long were you gone, and how did it go?
Well, the gallery part was kind of tanked because I found that an artist who they don't know walking into a gallery, even if I call ahead of time or email them and they say, yeah, show us your stuff,
Mhm.
it's very hard to get a foot in the door if they don't know anything about you.
Sure.
If you know an artist who's already showing there and they like him or her, then that's all different. And that got me into a gallery on the Baja California coast a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Just by luck, this guy was there and he liked my stuff. He told the dealer, you ought to see this guy's stuff. She
Okay.
did, and oh, yeah, I like it.
It's
Send me
almost
some.
like you need to recommend to get it.
Yeah, it was like a,
Who you know type
Yeah.
of deal. Yeah.
but I do go back out and do sketches on the beaches, and work in this little space because I don't have any money really, so I work on a little space that I can stay in for free when I'm there.
Okay.
And the labor on the carpentry is in trade for the time I can be there.
Oh,
Oh, that's nice.
that is
Yeah,
nice.
they're real nice.
Oh, that's great. That's a good relationship.
Little tiny room. Hang out.
So how often do you go back then?
About once a year.
Once a year?
Yeah.
Nice. So where are you currently displaying your work then? Besides your gallery here, do you have? I know you do have a piece in the Secura show.
I do enter shows, the Secure Show and a place called Robert Ray Gallery out in Algoma. And it's in the Art and Water show that's going on right now there. And down in Green Lake, not far from here, Arts of De Chola Gallery. And then the Jill Logan Galleria in Todos Santos, Mexico is my
Oh,
primary one. They sell more work than
Oh,
wow, that's
the other
interesting.
ones, yeah.
yeah. I travel a lot, and we go to galleries all the time. I've not heard of that
Cool.
one or been to that one.
Downtown, right next door to the Hotel California.
Oh, okay.
Won't be able to miss it.
That's great.
Okay.
It's a little town. It's a kind of a mission town from 300 years ago it was founded. And so there was just a mission or a church and then a few buildings and it's slowly growing. It's not too far from Cabo San Lucas or Los Cabos and it's getting the eye of the tourists and the developers a little bit.
Sure.
It's still pretty small.
Okay. Yeah, those are the best kind of towns,
Oh yeah.
especially for art.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions for Lee?
Well, I'm sure I do. I just can't think of it right this second.
Well, I know you like to do some of your pieces in a nice large scale.
Uh-huh.
You've got some really stunning and impressive size canvases around here in the gallery. Do you find that those sell better than the smaller ones, or you just like to do the scale because of the impact?
The size seems to be a big thing around here, or, well, the price. I do sell a few big ones, but mostly the smaller $400 range
Mm-hmm.
sketches and pieces on the wall. The big ones, I'm working with somebody right now. Maybe she'll purchase one. We'll see. So it's an uphill struggle with any of them.
Yeah, but the bigger pieces are more fun to do.
They're fun because they can make an impact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And they
like
look great on a big wall, and a lot of people do have
Yeah, I
big
prefer
Well, the
working in large scale too.
The houses being built these days have got tall ceilings and
Sure.
big walls to fill. So
Right,
you
right.
would think the demand would be there for larger pieces.
Mm-hmm. It's just connecting up with those collectors who have the big houses.
Yeah.
And they're not geared to going down to Chicago to look for artwork.
Well, right, and that's what ANNEW is trying to
That's
do.
what we're trying to do.
Okay.
At artnews.com.
That's right. Nice plug. So, do you have any upcoming shows that we need to know about?
Good question. What's going on right now? There's a little gallery called the Artless Bastard in De Pere.
Oh, we know of them.
The Artless Bastard.
Yeah, well, they have a piece of my work now. And then they're going to do a show later this month called The Dream Show. So if you've done anything
Oh,
involving
yes,
dream,
that's right.
they would look at it. So I entered one in that.
We talked about that in our recent newscast.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it sounds like a fun show. They seem like interesting people, too.
They are fun. Shanna and Casey, they're
Yeah.
I always say they're always on fire and they never sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that feeling, too. So there's that that show, and then that's about it, the Secure show. Then I'm going to pack my car and go out and take my work out to Northern California for about 2 months. And I'll
Okay.
do an artist in residency at this place called the Arcata Sanctuary in Arcata, California, way up in near Eureka. It's near the Oregon border. And that'll be interesting. It's a kind of an community arts center, small town, but it's an interesting area. There's an awareness of the arts there.
So your studio here in downtown Kaukauna, do you have open hours, or is it by appointment, or how do people get a hold of you and that sort of thing?
Ah, good question. I'm only here a few hours a day, but the coffee shop is open 7 days a week, and so my hours are officially the coffee shop hours. And the door's open and you can come up.
Okay. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, so it's open whenever the coffee shop's open.
It's available or open.
Well, when he's here.
Yeah. No, I don't have to be here.
Oh, really? People can just come up even when you're not here.
I have a little sign at the stairway where it says the artist is either in or out, and then below that it says feel free to come up anyway.
Oh, that's nice.
So people are welcome to look. The lights might not all be on, but it's light enough.
Yeah, you've got nice windows here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful in here. The lighting is great. And as I'm looking around, I want to circle back to the island again. You talked about a book you were writing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, how close is that to? Tell me about the book a little bit.
Okay. Well, I've had this island out there in imagery and a guidebook and road maps and all this like background. So you can look at the island by looking at the guidebook, but it's just a guidebook. There's no real gripping
History.
drama to pull you in.
Okay.
The history's a story. So there's a story of the island and the culture. And people have enjoyed my guidebook. I've sold several of them. So the last couple of years, I thought, well, what if I wrote a novel, which I've never done before? The whole narrative fiction is new to me, that takes place on the island. So I thought immediately of, well, what if this kid who's got his own problems has a weird dream and he winds up there? And it's 1964, and the Russians ran the island. They controlled it in those days.
Oh, really?
And it happened to be during the Cold War.
Oh.
And it was a strategic military base. That's why it was off all the maps, because they did that in those days. The Soviet Union erased the entire interior of their country off of any maps. And this was before satellite imagery. And all.
Okay.
So
That's great.
you could just erase islands, too. So he lands there. He doesn't know where he is. He meets some English-speaking islanders who are the natives, and the Russians, and they sort of get along. But the Russians catch him right away, and they think he's a spy. They throw him in a cell. But the local islanders kind of figure out, oh, he's not a spy. And he's also got some weird look in his eye that we connect with. So they rescue him.
Okay.
And now he's going to have all these adventures, and this is where I'm just getting going. He's going to travel around the island, so you, the reader, are going to see a lot of New Island through Gordy and these other characters as they have some adventures. And it involves this energy called the hum. So the title is The Hum. And
I can't
hum
wait to
energy
read it.
is way out there as far as quantum physics. It has some magical powers. People hear it and it feels real good, but it has a dark side.
Okay.
Like our friend the atom has a little dark side. And so they realize this has power that would be beyond destruction if the Russian government and the Americans got a hold of it and tried to make bombs with it, because it's very easy to do, because it happened on the island, a little accident, and it blew up. Luckily, no radiation, but big shakeup. So anyway, the characters have to deal with that. And involves some ancient culture, too, on the island. There's an old book that they wrote that gave the key to this hum energy. They knew about it. So I'm tying a lot of stuff
So you put a fictitious book inside of a fictitious story on a fictitious island that you created.
Right.
That's Inception right there.
That's fabulous.
Like,
I'm
that
waiting
should
for the book.
complete it. I can't
Yeah.
think of any further level to go.
Sounds like a movie.
Yeah,
it could
I'll
be
sign a movie deal if anybody
Get
wants
the
to
book
make
out
a
and we'll
movie.
make a movie.
Yeah, and then your second book could be about the future of the island, where it's going.
Or the way past.
Or it could be,
Wow.
yeah, anytime. You
This
can
is
travel
great.
to the island, you can do about anything you want.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
Other planes of reality is
just
part
love
of the thing. Yeah. Like, how did this kid get there? I have to figure out, well, the Russians come and go all the time because they have their own airport.
Okay.
But they're the only ones that seem to be able to do that, and they've kept it all secret from everybody else anyway.
Wow.
But Gordy makes it on his own through this dream, and he's not sure if he's really there or not. Gordy's my character.
That's great. Where does the name Gordy come from?
Just boom,
Just
popped up.
popped in your head.
Made
Huh?
up.
Kind of a friendly kid name, Gordy.
Mhm.
Now I have seen this before. How many shows or how often is this
Yeah, how long have you
how long
worked
has
on
it traveled?
Yeah.
Oh, I started back in '94 or '5,
Oh,
intentionally creating the island. Before that, it was random pictures of just places.
okay.
So it's been, almost about 25 years almost?
Wow.
Yeah, I think so.
And how many shows has it been in, or places?
Oh, probably at least half a dozen.
Wow.
The Raw West Museum in Manitowoc had it once. The Neville Museum in Green Bay showed it. That was the first one. That was just by luck. I was talking to Jack Moga, who used to be the curator at the Neville, and in 2003, and I started talking about the island, and he said, "What? We want this." So they had an opening, a kind of a random space that they
Okay.
needed filling, so I
Wow.
hustled the show in there.
I just love that. That's just a lot of work to put into that. That's
Yeah.
that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, you even have coins.
Yeah. I
Oh,
have one on me here, just in case I need to spend it.
let me see that. Oh my gosh.
That's worn down a little. It's a brass one Roger, it's called.
One Roger.
Yep.
That is
Nice.
great.
Part of the history. Like we have George Washington in our quarter.
Yeah.
Well, okay, who's he from? What's the significance? Well, Roger Putney was a kind of George Washington in the beginning of the
Okay.
island's settlement.
Wow.
More of a spiritual guy, though, not a president.
Okay.
Joy. I love it.
Now, do you know if there's any sunken treasure off the coast of the island, or?
There was a Spanish merchantman named the Juan Alvarez.
I knew
that,
there was.
You need to wait for the
that
book.
was wrecked many, many years ago.
Okay.
And there was gold on that ship. And the islanders managed to get it because they scuttled the ship.
Okay.
They were good at doing that. And,
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for the book. That's
Yeah.
That's gonna
And the
be-
movie.
And the movie.
I'm all for it.
In the movie. Watch for it, Spielberg.
hey, yeah.
Well,
I'd
thank
be
you
happy
for
to-
letting us come and check out your studio and
Thanks for letting us invade your space and the
have some good
Well,
coffee.
you're more than welcome.
And the name of the coffee house again is
Kaukauna Coffee and Tea.
Kaukauna Coffee and
Thank
Tea.
you.
And what's the address of the building?
It's 127 West Wisconsin Avenue, Kaukauna, Wisconsin.
Nice.
Just like the crow, Kaukauna.
Well, thank you. Lee.
Thank you, Lee.
too.